To other news now, and NHS bosses have warned hospitals need an emergency cash injection of £250 million to avert another winter crisis. NHS Providers, which represents trusts in England, says the government has just 3 weeks to come up with the money to fund more staff and beds. It comes as many hospitals are already close to capacity, with many beds still being blocked. Our health editor Rachel Younger reports.
In Milton Keynes A&E, they're queuing for beds in the corridor, already in autumn. Our hospitals are designed to run at around 85% occupancy. Some chance.
We're running at around about 90 to 95% bed occupancy routinely here, at a time when we should be looking to have spare beds to cope with any flu pandemic that happens.
The fear is the outbreak that pushed Australia's healthcare to its limit is coming here. No wonder the government's being asked for more money.
We think that they've probably got until the end of this month or the middle of next month at most to really make an effective intervention so that we can get extra staff in place. It's staff that we need critically to ride through the winter period.
NHS providers have asked for an extra £250 million. Today, Labour called for double that, saying £500 million was needed. But the Department of Health says the £2 billion it's found for social care should ease the pressure on hospitals by freeing up beds. But as Nick Turner will tell you, that particular medicine doesn't seem to be working. Complications from bowel cancer have seen him back in Worcestershire's A&Es 3 times in as many months. Last time he spent all night on a trolley.
The 13.5 hours went by very, very slowly. I had a high temperature, I was dehydrated, and this corridor was not private. People were marching up and down continuously through the night.
You know that there is a probability you'll have to go back into A&E again over the winter.
Yes, very high probability. It really is not something I'm looking forward to, and I dread every prospect of the onset of winter.
And trained as they are to do their best by every patient, it's not surprising many staff feel the same. Unless more beds are either freed up or funded, the NHS will remain pushed to its very limit.
OK, so what happens now then? Will the NHS in England get this extra cash that it needs to avoid the winter crisis?
Well, look at last year. We didn't have a significant outbreak of flu. The weather was pretty mild, and yet it still turned out to be the worst winter for the NHS by many measures in a decade. And Theresa May didn't budge, perhaps because she'd seen in the past cash injections being given but coming too late to make any kind of difference. And that's why you hear such urgency from the likes of Saffron Cordery calling for more money now. The truth is, I think it is social care that is proving so intractable. We heard, didn't we, the government say they'd given an extra £2 billion. Well, actually, only £1 billion of that is getting through this winter, but it doesn't seem to be making enough of a difference. I was at Milton Keynes Hospital last week. They were hoping only 3% of beds would now be filled with people medically fit to go home but without care. Instead, it was 10%, 1 in 10 beds still full. And I think unless that can be changed, it's not something a cash injection can solve. And in that case, we're not looking at just a winter crisis, but no end, if there's no plan from the government, to the year-round pressure the NHS is now facing.
All right, Rachel, thank you.